Have you ever wondered why the world remembers only a handful of men, while the rest vanish into obscurity? Why do some rise like gods from the dust while others remain shadows in the crowd? What separates the conqueror from the conquered, when they were once boys born with the same flesh, the same fears, and the same potential? Welcome to Men and Masculinity, where we uncover the hidden truths about what it really means to be a man in a world that no longer understands masculinity. If you're ready to challenge everything you've been told and dig into the raw, unfiltered reality that defines success, failure, power, and purpose, then make sure to subscribe to the channel and hit that bell icon. This isn't just a video, it's a wake-up call. Now let me tell you something they'll never teach you in school, in therapy, or in those watered-down self-help books. It's a truth so sharp it cuts the ego open like a blade. The reason most men never win is because they fear obsession. But the men who shape history, they embrace it. Not just once, not briefly, but obsessively, completely, relentlessly. Obsessed men win, period. Obsession is what carved the Sistine Chapel ceiling through Michelangelo's torn ligaments and bloody knuckles. Obsession is what drove Alexander the Great to conquer 90% of the known world before his 30th birthday. Obsession is what forced David Goggins to tape his feet and run on broken legs, because pain was irrelevant compared to purpose. Obsession isn't a flaw, it's a requirement. But society will tell you to balance your life, that chasing too hard, too long, too intensely will make you toxic, selfish, unwell. But let's ask something real. Has any balanced man ever conquered an empire? Ever built $1 billion company? Ever stood before the world and bent it to his will? Balance didn't build the pyramids. Balance didn't put a man on the moon. Balance didn't drag a Roman legion across the Alps in the dead of winter. Average men worship comfort. Obsessed men create legacies. Picture this. It's 2 a.m. The world sleeps. Somewhere a man is still awake, grinding, bleeding his soul into something no one believes in yet. There's no applause, no reward, just him and the echo of his ambition. That man will win, not because he's more talented or more gifted or more blessed, but because he refused to stop. That's the power of obsession. Now let me tell you a story. In 1914, a young man named Thomas Edison stood and watched his research lab burn to the ground. Decades of notes, prototypes, breakthroughs reduced to ash. His son rushed to find him, fearing he would be devastated. Instead, Edison calmly turned to his son and said, "Go get your mother. She'll never see a fire like this again." He was smiling. That same night, Thomas Edison began planning the rebuild. No tears, no collapse, just renewed fire. Within 3 weeks, the factory was up and running again. What kind of man reacts like that? The kind who is obsessed beyond reason. The kind who is immune to failure because he doesn't fear it. The average man would have broken. Edison? He burned brighter than the flames. Obsession rewires your brain. It changes how you move, breathe, eat, speak. It alters your identity. And most men avoid that kind of transformation, because obsession forces you to face every weakness you've hidden behind excuses. It's not comfortable, it's violent. It forces you to confront what you really want, and what you've been too scared to chase. You can't be average and obsessed at the same time. It's one or the other. That's why average men never win. Now you might be wondering, how do I know if I'm obsessed? Easy. Ask yourself this. What would I die for? What am I willing to lose sleep over, be ridiculed for, bleed for, and still keep going? If nothing comes to mind, then you're not obsessed. You're dabbling. Dilettantes dabble. Kings obsess. It's why Kobe Bryant practiced in the dark before sunrise, while the rest of the NBA was sleeping. It's why Elon Musk slept on the Tesla factory floor. It's why Arnold Schwarzenegger trained like a madman in Austria, long before anyone in America even knew his name. They weren't just talented, they were possessed, consumed. And that fire? It doesn't come from motivation. It comes from a decision, a ruthless, unapologetic decision to never be average again. But here's where it gets deeper. Obsession comes with a price. You will lose friends, you will face mockery, you will outgrow people, You will be called crazy, arrogant, unhealthy, too intense. You might go months, years without validation, without understanding, without a hand on your back telling you good job. Because obsession isolates you before it elevates you. But let me tell you a brutal truth. Every man who changed the world walked alone before he was followed. So the question becomes, not should I chase this dream, but am I willing to pay the price to own it? There is no victory without sacrifice. There is no excellence without obsession. The average man will look for shortcuts. He'll wait for the right time, the right mood, the right approval. He will hope the world permits his greatness. But the obsessed man doesn't ask for permission. He takes ground. He demands results. And he'll either get them or die trying. Because here's the secret. Obsession removes choice. It's not I'll try to get there, it's I must get there. That shift right there is what kills average and births unstoppable. And it isn't just about success or fame or wealth. It's about honor. It's about integrity. It's about becoming the kind of man who keeps his word to himself, who refuses to die without having become what he knows he's meant to be. Are you willing to walk that path? Because if you're not, then know this, someone else is. Right now, another man is training harder, sacrificing more, reading longer, working when you're sleeping, plotting when you're scrolling. He wants it more than you, and the world will give it to him, because the world rewards obsession, and it forgets the rest. Now imagine 5 years from now. You're sitting in the same room, wearing the same clothes, staring at the same screen, watching another man live your dream, because he chose obsession and you chose comfort. Will you be okay with that? Or will you finally burn the ships? Will you stop negotiating with your limitations? Will you look in the mirror and declare war on everything keeping you average? You see, every generation gets a choice: to be forgotten, or to etch your name into time. Which will you choose? There is something primitive, something ancient and raw, buried deep in the bones of every man. You can feel it, can't you? That whisper inside you that says you were built for more. Not to be comfortable, not to be passive, but to rise, to dominate, to build, break, and conquer. But somewhere along the way, the world taught you to silence that voice. They told you it was toxic, that ambition was dangerous, that wanting too much would make you selfish. So you learned to shrink, to lower your standards, to laugh at your own dreams like they were foolish. But let me ask you, what if that voice was never the enemy? What if that hunger inside you is the only real thing you've ever known? Average men ignore it. Obsessed men feed it. And let's make one thing clear. Obsession isn't about grinding for the sake of hustle. It's not about empty bravado or showing off. It's about alignment. When your deepest values, your purpose, your identity all lock into place, you don't have to force discipline. You become inevitable. Take the Spartans, for example, the most feared warriors in history. Their lives were not balanced. From childhood, they were trained to suffer, to fight, to endure. They were obsessed with glory, obsessed with brotherhood, obsessed with leaving behind a name that would echo through eternity. And they did. To this day, we still speak of them in reverence, not because they were safe or soft, but because they were willing to die for their standard. Now compare that to the modern man, addicted to distraction, enslaved by comfort, proud of mediocrity, chasing dopamine instead of discipline. You can't scroll your way to greatness. You can't wish your way into power. You earn it with blood, with sweat, with sleepless nights and brutal mornings. And here's the paradox: obsession doesn't drain you, it saves you. When you're obsessed with something real, your body aligns, your mind clears, your spirit sharpens. You begin to see the world differently. Every pain becomes fuel. Every setback becomes data. Every insult becomes gasoline to the fire. Now let me tell you about a man named Viktor Frankl. He survived the Holocaust, lost everything, watched his family perish in Auschwitz. But he noticed something most men missed. The ones who survived weren't the strongest. They were the ones who had a reason, an obsession with living, with seeing their loved ones again, with writing the book they were meant to write. That obsession pulled them through hell. Frankl would later write, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." That's obsession. That's power. That's the fire that burns through death itself. So what's your why? What are you willing to suffer beautifully for? Because make no mistake, life will test you. There will come a moment, maybe soon, where everything feels stacked against you. Money will run low, support will vanish, doubt will scream louder than belief. And in that moment, if you don't have obsession, you will fold. You'll rationalize. You'll tell yourself it wasn't meant to be. But the obsessed man, he doesn't retreat. He reloads. You don't need the world to believe in you. You need you to believe in you, so obsessively that the universe has no choice but to get out of your way. Do you think Muhammad Ali became the greatest because he trained harder? No. He became the greatest because he believed it before anyone else did. He declared it, lived it, obsessed over it until it became real. "I am the greatest," he said. And then, he proved it. Average men wait for evidence. Obsessed men create it. And here's the final truth, the part they never tell you. Obsession is lonely. It's brutal. It will break you open and expose every flaw you've buried. But on the other side of that destruction is a man you've never met. A version of you that is sharper, harder, more focused, more alive. That man is already inside you. But he's locked behind the gates of your current comfort. And the only key is obsession. So what now? You've heard the truth. You felt it stirring inside you, the ancient calling to rise. You can't unhear it. You can't go back to scrolling. The old you has been exposed. Now you must choose. Will you chase greatness with everything you've got? Or will you settle for being just another man in a world full of forgotten names? Because no matter how far behind you feel, no matter how old you are, how poor, how broken, how lost, obsession can still make you unstoppable. But you have to decide. Not tomorrow. Not next month. Right now. Light the fire. Burn the excuses. Build the life that demands your full power. And remember, average men never win. Obsession does. Thank you for watching Men and Masculinity. If this message lit a spark in you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it. Comment your thoughts. Subscribe. Because we're just getting started. This channel is not for the weak. It's for the obsessed. And you? You were never meant to be average.